Yo, this is Necro Butcher.
Nightbound that is, that's political relation of what it be other.
When you go camping, you're gonna see the Milky Way galaxy.
Punk rock type attitude too. We're just gonna try to, gross you out with our music.
If you love it enough, whatever you're doing, whether it's your instrument and your music or everything like that, you'll find a way to make it work.
We could do this all night. Bass players, I use.
Yo, this is John from Noise Dosage Media, bringing you some of the most impressive and innovative extreme metal musicians on air to have an in-depth conversation about things you haven't known until now. We like to mention our sponsors and friends, Bishop Martin of Rat Punch and Begrudgingly Benny. Brandon specializes in stippling and digitally designing one-of-a-kind gruesome creatures that will look fantastic on any type of band artwork, tattoo, just about anything your twisted mind can think of. All of the art on this podcast is created by him, and we can guarantee 100% professionalism for a fair price. If you want to support the pod, please be sure to sign up for one of our $1, $3, or $5 Patreon tiers. We offer exclusive content, updates, merch, and unique offers that you can't get anywhere else. We're hoping in the future this fund can help aid in various subscriptions needed to keep this platform alive while delivering the best quality content we can. Our mission is to support more bands and deliver more content to our listeners. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. Patreon.com/Noise Dosage Media. Cesar, right off the bat, I'm a guitar player.
Awesome.
I have a angle head and an EVH 2x12, and I was looking into your profile and like you are into this Wizard Amplification, and I've never heard of this company. Can you give me a background on it?
Yeah. So Wizard Amplification is a company by mastermind Rick St. Pierre, and he is from Canada, Cornwall, Canada, and he's an amp wizard. He's you can find his amps in some of the most major studios all around the world. He's probably one of the most renowned amp builders to this day. I mean, he's pretty amazing. Not to mention, he's a cool dude. He's just an master amp builder. Everything is hand built, quality heads, man. So right. When you're a guitar player, especially with me, man, I'm always doing like tone searching and
oh yeah.
That's a never-ending thing, is searching for tone. So I over the years, my ear has changed in terms of what I'm looking for in a guitar tone.
Right.
A lot of people think that high gain, the more gain you have coming through your amp, the better quality and the more chunk you'll get out of it. That's not necessarily true, man. I actually even if it's a high gain head, I really back off on the gain, and I try and control most of it with my hand. And
right.
The way I can tell it's a killer amp with any amp really is just plugging straight in and seeing exactly what it does without you having to color it in any way.
Exactly.
With, any type of overdrive, which works on some heads, and I'm not knocking that because I'm a big fan of boost and overdrive pedals as well, but. Wizard head is just one of those plug-in and go heads that just sounds amazing when you're tracking or live.
Right.
But yeah, that's I have two go-tos, which is a Modern Classic 2, 50 watt, and the MTL 100 watt, and I use them for different things. I record a lot at home every day. Actually, I'm recording something, but I use them all for different things and for whatever works for the song and whatever's best for the song that I'm working on. So
now, would you say this is like a niche company? Like, would you see this company at NAMM?
You know what? I know that just speaking with him over the past few years, he did that a long time ago. But his amps are so well known that he just doesn't need to do anything like that. He just people order his amps and they keep ordering them because of the quality of the amp. It just is you just can't beat it. You can't beat it. You can't beat the tone. The cabs are killer too. I have a couple 412s, and I actually have a third head coming, which is it's called the W800. And I chose to get a 100 watt. Just sounds for me. It just feels for the 100 watts are feeling really really killer.
Yeah, that's what I have. It's not too much, but it's not too little.
Yeah. Plus, I just want to have enough for for bigger stages. I mean, 50 watts is enough to now the 50 watt that I have, the Modern Classic 250 watt.
Right.
That thing's really loud and it's just killer. It's just a killer head.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, my 100 watt, I don't even crank it to a quarter. I crank it to like a freaking eighth, or like
exactly.
a 16th.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you don't even need it because you mic it up. So
exactly. Yeah. So it's just for me, it's a combination of the guitar, the pickups, and the amp that you're playing out of, and of course, speakers too. That actually really helps too. So. But real simple setup. I try and keep my setups as simple as possible, especially on the road, because you never know. Obviously, you don't have perfect shows every single day, and sometimes you have problems. And down to the labeling, I think in advance in terms of labeling my pedal board. That way, it makes it easier for any guitar techs to put the rig together. I like to make it easier for them because they have a lot to do and they just they have a lot of responsibilities, and if I could make that easier on the guitar tech, and it's just a more comfortable show. You end up having a more comfortable show and not running so much.
Just keeping everything tight.
Just rock and roll, man.
I used to have a big board. I don't know, like 9 pedals or something.
Yeah,
crazy.
There's nothing wrong with that.
but my problem was, I built a board and then I would hit a patch cable hard and then I wouldn't know what the fuck happened.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I'd end up just plugging direct in. I'm like, all right, screw it, man. Screw it.
Yeah, usually, I mean, I try and keep it limited. I always try and keep some type of noise gate or noise suppressor on my board because, from club to club, power. I mean, power could be noisy, so that's when that comes handy. Or you might have a stage that's really solid and you just feedback a lot, and you have to re-EQ everything and pull gain down. So I always have some type of noise gate, a boost, an overdrive, because you never know when you're going to need those things. But definitely always have like a delay and a reverb in the effects.
Right on.
For sure, and it's very limited.
What delay do you have?
Actually, trippy story, man, is a couple of years ago, we were doing a tour together with Chelsea Wolf and Brian, a guitar player, awesome band, by the way, really great people. He actually let me use a couple of his Earthquaker Devices pedals.
Right on.
So, yeah, what was cool about that is that every time we would sound check, I'd see like a different pedal on my board, and
that's sick.
Yeah, he was actually cool enough to like let me try a couple different ones. So we had a day off in Chicago, and I walked over to Chicago Music Exchange, and if you're not familiar with the Chicago Music Exchange, it's just an amazing store full of vintage guitars and vintage gear. And so the one that I decided to get was hold on real quick, the Dispatch Master. I'm sorry. So the Earthquaker Devices Dispatch Master. Little did I know is I ended up getting like a limited edition, like black and blue print, like blue fonts. But I ended up getting that and got in touch with Earthquaker Devices. Just let them know, hey, I ended up buying this pedal and I really really dig it, and they were cool enough to send a couple out. The Afterneath reverb, the Avalanche Run reverb delay. So what's really cool is that they're like the Dispatch Master and the Avalanche Run are a mixture of delay and reverb. So you can, and they both have mixed control. Both have mixed controls, so it's really cool because you could just add that layer with cleans. It's really amazing. It's actually really really haunting
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I have a MXR carbon copy and a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the Hall of Fames are killer, man.
Holy crap, dude.
I
So
do have,
good.
yeah, really awesome. I have a couple of Hall of Fames. I have a couple of carbon copies also. That's a great delay. I love how dark it is.
Yes. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not so bright. The repeats aren't bright, and it's really dark, and it adds this creepy layer to it.
Right.
Yeah,
Now, the Schecter Explorer.
yeah. It's
Now that's a weird shape for that company. I think about it and I'm like, all right, you know, was there any specific person that made you go for the Explorer, and why did you pick Schecter, not like you know, who else makes those? Freaking
oh, well,
Epiphone and all that?
well. I'll tell you the the beginning of this. So I'd say maybe about 15 years ago, I was looking for another guitar, and I had I had saved money for a guitar, and I didn't know what I wanted. So long story short, the Explorer was probably the last shape that I thought I would go for, only because um, those the shape. If you look at it, it looks it doesn't look right on everyone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
exactly.
I was kind of
Yeah.
iffy about it, and I was like, you know what? I've seen a couple people with Explorers, and I'm like, hey, that guitar looks really kick ass. You know what I mean? So guitars have to be part of you, like an extension of you, in terms of how they play and just how they feel. And so I went to a used guitar website, and that guitar was the first guitar that popped up, which was the Gibson Explorer, and I ended up buying it, and I ended up calling the company that I got from some it was a used guitar site. It might have been Guitar Center. I'm not too sure,
Yeah.
but the manager of the store had told me he had just posted the guitar about about 10 minutes earlier. So I ended up getting the guitar, and prior to that, I was into researching on Gibson serial numbers, and I'm just like that. I do my research
Yeah. Yeah.
on everything, and ended up looking at the serial number and looked it up, and it turned out that that guitar, the serial number and the month and the date on it coincided with my dad's death date.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was kind of meant to be, and that guitar sits in my studio. I use it. I use it for whatever I need it for. But when I joined ministry, I brought that guitar out with me. Mainly for sentimental reasons, because
Mhm.
it was a it was just a step up in my music career. It was a really awesome time, and I just kind of wanted to take that with me, because it means a lot to me. It's more of a sentimental thing for me. So I took it out, and I didn't have any endorsements. I was with I actually that first tour, I ended up with Gibson for maybe about a year and a half, 2 years, and
Okay.
and obviously then they were having just a ton of corporate problems, from my understanding, and it was really hard to get a hold of anyone for anything, even any questions and stuff like that. But I'm sure I've heard that that's changed. So, but anyhow, I ended up at NAM, and I drove out to NAM, actually, which is about a 12-hour drive from.
I've yet to go to NAM. Like
Oh,
that is one thing I haven't done that, and I haven't went to a metal festival
oh,
before.
really? You have to do both.
I know, like I gotta. Once this shit's over, I want to go to Maryland Death Fest. I've been saying it every single time I talk to somebody about concerts.
I've
But
never been to Maryland Death Fest. That would be awesome to check out. So I drove out to NAM, and I obviously the rest of the guys of the band were already with Schecter, so I ended up going up to Schecter, and it was like very welcoming. Everyone was super, super, super cool, and I just had the opportunity to switch over, and very personal company. They're just awesome to deal with. So, I had the entire drive back home to think about it, and I think I waited a couple of days, and I emailed my artist relations dude there, Anthony, and that started my relationship with Schecter, and
Heck yeah.
and that maybe about 6 months later or so, they came out with their first E1, which is that Explorer body style, and
Yeah, they have I think they're doing flying V's with that E1.
the E1 is just the specific body style that I play.
Okay, then I'm thinking about a different company then. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So so that started my relationship with Schecter, and I've been with them since 2016, I believe.
Right on.
And I couldn't be happier, man. They're just a great company. Everyone at the company is awesome. Everyone from from the room that sets up the guitars to the people that wind the pickups, the people in artist relations, down to the owner of the company, Michael. They're all amazing people, man. The president of the company. But they're all just great people, man, and that's what you look for when you're touring, and you do a lot of hard touring, is companies that that you can trust and get an answer back from. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So they're a great company, and everything I use, man, is everything that I believe in. From strings to pickups to guitar and amps and effects and stuff. I only use the stuff that I really, really believe in, and in those companies, I'm fortunate enough to deal with a lot of really awesome people that are really great people. So that's really awesome.
Right on. Now, bring it back to the part that you said, the sentimental thing with your guitar.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny you say that, because like I had a similar thing. I was on a really bad writer's block, right?
Oh yeah, and everyone has writer's block. So.
Everyone's got them. And my friend, he's like, "Hey man, I want to buy that, Music Man you have." I'm like, "All right, well, you have to sell me your old guitar that actually made me start playing like metal, right?"
Yeah.
And I bought it from him, and now I've been writing music like crazy. And I feel like it's the same thing with you, man.
Yeah,
like, once you find that one guitar, it's game over.
Yeah, you know what? What's really cool is that depending, I like to keep. I have maybe about 6 different guitars that are sitting in a guitar rack, and 2 different basses, and I have everything in front of me, because every guitar brings out something different. It brings a different tune out. I could pick one guitar up, and I'll write a certain style. Another one will make me write a different style. You know what I mean? It's like a connection you have with your instrument. One of the guitars that Schecter actually one of the guitars that they made custom for me, that I was actually going to use it last year before COVID hit. There was a tour that was going to happen, but it didn't, only because it was on Australia Japan run.
Okay.
Obviously COVID messed that up, but I was going to use that on that was going to be the start of that guitar for me, but it never happened. So I've been recording just a ton with that over the past year, and that's like my go-to. It's just a single pickup guitar.
Yeah,
with
same.
The EMG 85 in there, gold hardware, matte black, super simple. Like it's just like a kill machine guitar. It's killer.
Yeah, right.
I love
And
that thing.
you bring up matte black. I love it, because I have one of those too. I got a Wolfgang, EVH Wolfgang, and it's matte black, and you don't get the smudges and the, how like when you play a gloss guitar, your hand gets stuck.
Oh yeah.
Like your arms get wet. I don't like that.
Yeah. Over time I'll start glossing, but I'll tell you how mine ended up glossing, and it was a total accident, man. I had a candle on in the studio, and the candle I accidentally bumped it and it spilled everywhere. And
I think I think you messaged me about that.
yeah, I think that was actually our first interaction is when around that happened.
So what happened?
That wax ended up like 98% of that wax ended up on that one guitar, on the matte black guitar. So there's like a big shiny spot on there that eventually it'll go away, but it was like the only way I could take it away was like slowly rubbing it off with like a flannel style fabric, like a long john kind of fabric, kind of thick, thick like web kind of cotton. That was the only thing that was taking that off, and I could still see it now, but it's going away.
Hey,
yeah,
it'll go away. All right,
yeah.
so you got a clothing company, Riffsputin.
Go ahead.
Would you say that the development of building a clothing brand is like easy?
No.
What have you?
No.
That's what I thought. What have you learned from this process?
Well, I mean, it's not a full-fledged like clothing company. It's just a couple of shirts that I just decided to release. And a good friend of mine in California, his name is Tom Simmons, is a great graphic artist, and I think it was maybe last year or maybe a year and a half ago, he had sent me an image of Rasputin, but with my face on there, and I was like, oh wow, that's actually really cool. So he named it Riffsputin. So I decided to roll with that, and I was like, you know what, COVID brought like a lot of hard times, especially like obviously the two industries that I work in, music and behind the bar, are completely dead last year, right? So I just thought about what I could do to bring a little bit of revenue back into my household, and that's what I did. I just started getting ideas of different T-shirts that we can release, and I just decided to do like a small e-commerce shop with a couple of shirts, and that's it, man. That's where it went. But it's not easy, man. It's definitely not easy. It's not easy when you just don't know what you're doing and you kind of jump in, like trying to make things happen. It's a learning process, and it's a huge learning curve. But I mean, I'm always willing to take on any learning curve really. But it's hard. It's hard. A good friend of mine, he owns a company called My Magic Mud. Him and his wife own the charcoal toothpaste company. They have a bunch of different products, but he gave me a lot of advice, and he's really, really successful with his company. So he gave me a lot of advice on what to do when you start. And I'm not even, I haven't even, I didn't even dive like all the way into it. I probably dove in 10% of what he knows, and this dude's a genius. So that's why him and his wife have such a successful company, because they're just genius people.
Yeah,
but they gave me great advice. Justin and Jessica Armand with a company called My Magic Mud.
So would you agree 80% of it is marketing?
Oh yeah,
probably more than that.
More
90?
than that. Yeah, more than that. I mean, down to buying ads and just putting your stuff out there. I was basically doing everything. It was like I was doing everything like Alley Cat style, man. I was doing, stuff just from my social media, like from Facebook and Instagram, and I started off just selling stickers to be able to have enough money to buy T-shirts. So that's exactly what I did. I did stickers before the T-shirts, and that's really what helped get the T-shirt thing started.
Right on.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously when you release something, it sells more like within the first couple of weeks, and then it starts slowing down and stuff. So I mean, I still get some orders in, but nothing compared to the first couple of weeks. But it's still going. I mean, people are still buying a couple shirts here and there, which is cool.
I've been saying, the one thing about bands is like, I talk to my father about this all the time. Like some of the worst bands that market like masterminds are the ones that make it. Like,
Oh yeah,
I mean,
big time.
I mean, obviously music plays a big portion of that, but I've seen like some some bad bands make it.
Yeah, yeah. I think I mean, that's an extreme uh, extreme amount of revenue when you talk about merchandise and stuff like that. I mean, that kind of opened doing these shirts kind of opened my eyes and made me want to dig deeper into other things. You know what I mean? Because I have like my own project that I haven't released yet because it's taken me so long to put something together to dive into something that I wanted to do on my own, and I wasn't um, pushing for any particular style. I just wanted to just come to me.
Right.
And
Right.
For me, that's a whole package, like with merchandise, music, and whatever else I decide to release in the future when it comes out. Which I actually just while I was connecting to this podcast, I got a master back for one of the first, actually the first. One of the first tunes that I'm going to release that is not even a serious tune at all.
Kick ass. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I'm working on a bunch of different stuff, but we'll get to that when we get to it here.
So, you're talking about unique merch and stuff. And I wanted to bring up the fact that, so I follow this artist. He's like a, metal logo guy, horror type.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to know what he makes his money on?
What's that?
Just guess. Other than logos, like physical. Anyway, he does like toys, like
Oh wow,
like
yeah.
molded toy monsters, and like he sells them for like $60 to $80.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
And I'm like, this guy, he brought it to a whole new level,
Oh yeah. There's a ton of stuff that you can do. A couple people that I know have approached me to do different things. Uh, kind of like that. But I need to wait for me personally. I need just the right timing to do it. And, it'll be soon, but it's not now.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, you're definitely a family man, right? So
Oh,
how, well, has this been easy with being a part of ministry, touring the country?
Yeah, honestly, the only thing that's made it easy is like having a wife that supports what I do. Um,
Right on.
yeah, and that's the only thing that's really made it easy. I mean, she takes on 110% of the responsibility when I'm gone, and that's not easy to do. That's a very, very, very difficult job, and there are never any complaints on her end, and I can't ask for anything else. I'm very fortunate to be in a situation like that. So that's awesome.
So shout out to her.
Yeah, big time. Like,
Heck yeah.
big time.
So you were talking about beating alcoholism and, better health. Do you think this pandemic has, improved that, or have you been doing that within the last couple of years, or?
No, it's actually been in the last year. Now, not, just keep in mind, I've never really been a heavy drinker, but I mean, when I would drink, I would want to drink,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I I just came to a point where it wasn't doing anything for me anymore. I didn't want to do it. And then I would look at myself and I was like, you know what? My motivation's dead. I'm looking kind of horrible. So I just decided to just quit. Just like I said, it just wasn't doing anything for me anymore. So, I replaced that with, riding my bike or, going back to the gym now.
Same as me, man. Well, I never used to go to the gym, but yeah.
Yeah, it just feels good. It feels good to be healthy, and it feels good to like tackle a goal, even if it hurts when when you're doing cardio or or riding your bike for 40, 50 miles or whatever. That's like it's therapeutic, and you're not only getting your body back to good health, but you're getting your mind healthy again. So, the biggest difference that I've noticed is motivation. Like I just motivation, and I just have, it's like my passion and motivation are at like 110%, especially for music, and ideas left and right. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to just walk downstairs and you know get the studio going and start recording whatever is in my head, and take me a day to complete an entire song, and just go from there. Have a catalog of just a ton of songs, of course, a ton of songs that are not released, but there's a ton of songs that I've put together for whatever situation, and I just like to write, man. I'm a songwriter.
Same, yeah.
I love to songwrite and record and produce stuff and mix stuff. It's just I'm very passionate about everything that involves building a song.
Right. Now, would you say that, okay, for me, when I drink, I write music that is a little bit out of the box. Usually not me. Would you say that, since you haven't been drinking, that you're going to write more stuff like in your soul, or are you going to miss that type of music that's kind of out of the box if that was you?
No, definitely. I mean, for me, it's what I'm writing now is really just out of the ordinary and like not something I would normally write. You know what I mean? I don't question it. I just run with it, and I'm not trying to fit a certain mold writing style. For me, like a good song, I don't care what style of music it is. A good song is a good song. Like, you cannot deny a good song. If it's stuck in your head or if there's a hook, it's there for a reason. It's because it's a good song. So for me, no matter what style it is, a good song is a good song. If it's a style of music that you don't normally like, hey, well, it's stuck in your head. A good song is a good song. So I would have to say that it's just giving me the opportunity to write just stuff that I normally wouldn't write, and I don't question it. If it comes out, it just comes out, and I'm like, wow. I learn from listening to different productions, down to when I'm tracking something. I dig deep and listen to how they track it, and I understand by listening what their perspective is when they track that song, to use different effects or different layers. For me, it's layering, man.
Yeah, man.
Like
now,
layering.
What are you a fan of quad tracking?
You know what? I was a fan of quad tracking, but I get better results by just doing hard left, hard right.
Okay.
I'll try everything. Like, for instance, I can't record a live guitar cabinet right now because it's just my house.
Resonate the whole
well,
thing.
It's not only that, the kids have been in school for here at home for almost a year, so I can't fire up a guitar cabinet. So I ended up getting this device by Two Notes Engineering. It's called the Torpedo Captor X.
Right on.
And it's basically a cab sim. So it goes directly from your head to this cab sim. It's a multi-tool. It's like a IR loader, attenuator. It's a virtual cabinet. So there's software that you can use via Bluetooth on your phone, on your iPhone, and you can basically build your own cab. And that goes straight to the interface. And not have to
pay a couple $1,000s.
Exactly. And they go straight to the interface. I mean, it's simpler. It's similar to what a camper, like the cabinets in a camper would be, but it's coming from your head into the IR loader and virtual cabinet into this Torpedo Captor X. I'll try different things. I'll try different heads. I'll use a different head left and a different head right. I'll do dual tracks. I'll do a left, right, and maybe a center, like with a different amp at a lower volume just to fill it up. But for me, it really depends on it, whatever serves the song. That's what I go for. But mainly, I start off with just dual tracking, quad tracking. Sometimes things get lost, especially when you're
I
mixing.
totally agree on that.
But I'm not I'm not a pro engineer or a pro mixer, but I do know that there's formulas that work for me, especially since I do a lot of stuff on my own here. Obviously, my own writing. I do here at home. I just sit here and record, but I know exactly what works for me and what doesn't work for me. And with this Torpedo Captor X, the just dual tracking has worked for me. Like just a hard left, hard right. That's it.
Heck yeah. Now, you sound like obviously you're a gear nerd like me. And
Big
I always love to ask this question. What is your next purchase when you have the money for gear?
You know what, man? Recently I just purchased a guitar stand because I needed another one, like a dual guitar stand. So that's kind of hard to say. I mean, I pretty much have everything that I need to record like an entire record from my home and just send it to somebody to mix and master. So I mean, I have all the guitar heads I need, all the tones I've ever wanted. I have my Wizards. I have a 5150 that I've had for a long time. I have like a 77 Marshall JMP that I use for different things. Like I said, it really depends on the song and what you need to serve that song. You know what I mean? So mainly the Wizards. I don't have to.
I gotta check out this freaking Wizard thing. Like,
just do some YouTube. Research.
Do they? I mean, my main thing with that company is like, do they? Like, where could I test them out? Angle. I had to play it at somebody's studio, until I could hear it.
That's how you test them out. You find someone that has one, and mess with it. Before I had my first Wizard, I honestly just I did a lot of research and a lot of YouTube videos, and I trusted the videos. And when I got it, I was not disappointed. And I actually did like a quick demo using like a cell phone mic, and that honestly, if it sounds good with a cell phone mic,
it'll beat the test with anything.
It's probably kick ass. Yeah, a lot of I don't I don't trust a lot of videos that have a lot of processing. You don't know if someone's adding any external EQs or anything as a plugin via DAW, whatever they're using.
And then they're like, "Hey, we're sponsored," and then you really question it.
Yeah, I just for me, a cell phone is it's very, very trustworthy. And others will disagree, but I mean, anytime I've purchased anything that has to do with a YouTube video and a cell phone microphone, like sound coming from just a video from a cell phone, then I've never been disappointed, honestly. So,
right, it's a true tone.
Yeah, kind of weird way to do research, but that's. I'll send you a link later for just a simple demo I did once I got
Sweet.
That. Yeah, and you'll be surprised when you hear it. It's just straight in through the head. It's pretty amazing.
Fuck yeah. So the last question I have is, how has your early background shaped who you are today musically?
Well, man, I mean, there's the main thing is that you have to fail a shit ton in order to come up on the positive end sometimes. You know what I mean? So I could honestly say that from the time I started like my touring career, I'm 43 years old now. I started when I was about 20 years old. Maybe and even jamming way before that. You know what I mean? I've been playing the guitar since I was 9 years old is when I really dug into it, and it just kind of took over my life. But if we're talking about, the beginning of touring, there's a lot of hardships involved. There's a lot of learning. There's just a lot of learning curves. You know what I mean? And being in a touring band doesn't. There's a lot that. There's a lot that. How do I put this? There's a lot of aspects aside from just being a good musician. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
a lot of things that you need to learn in order to be successful and keep on doing your craft. You know what I mean? That don't necessarily have to do with you just being a good musician. You know what I mean? There's just definitely there's things that can go wrong, and you just have to understand that when things go wrong, you just can't fix them. Sometimes you just can't
roll with
fix
the punches.
You've got to roll with the punches, and that's the main thing, is rolling with the punches and adapting to any situation. You have to learn to adapt. So, these past 23, 24 years have taught me how to adapt to situations, and it's taught me that you're not always going to win, that you're going to lose a lot. So you just gotta deal with it, and just learn how to accept when things don't go your way.
Yeah, it's good advice.
That's it. Yeah, it's just like you said it perfectly. You just gotta roll with the punches and adapt to the situation, and you'll be okay.
I find it even. I talk about a band versus being a rapper, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't listen to rap, but bands making it is a lot harder. You got to split it between 5 or 6 people. Rappers, there's only one person.
Yeah.
so like they make it sometimes, but
yeah, for me, like when we use that word, like you've made it, like you made it and stuff like that. For me, there's different levels of like when someone uses the word, like you're making it and stuff like that. For me, there's different levels. What that translates to me is like, if you're happy doing what you're doing, it doesn't matter if you're writing music at home and you're happy doing it, and you're just like you're just at peace doing it, then you've made it.
And
somehow.
You pay the bills, yeah. You get everything.
As long as you're happy, man, that's the only thing that matters. As long as you're happy doing what you're doing, and you love your craft and you're passionate about it, and it brings happiness and peace to your life, then
that's fulfillment.
It's fulfillment, and you've made it. That's for me. That's the.
You know what? I'm gonna write that question down right now. What would you like? How could I say this? What would you consider making it in the music industry? I have to write that down.
Oh, okay. That's what you're going to write down, or you wanted me to answer that?
No. Like to write that down. So I ask another question to other people. How would you define success? Mm-hmm. And like that is a killer question, because I get like so many different answers with that. How would you like say that or answer that question?
How would I define success? Success
the word success. The
word success to me is happiness, like doing what you're doing. Not something. I know a lot of people that are in different professions, and they make a lot of money, but they're not necessarily happy. You know what I mean? They've gone to school, gotten PhDs, their master's degrees, and they're just not happy doing what they're doing. But they make a shit ton of money, but they're not happy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like for me, success is mainly based on your happiness, and I like to put myself in situations that are not very stressful, because that just it just creates a different energy for you to succeed in other ways, and it just it's just like a snowball effect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So success to me is just being happy and not feeling like you're doing a job, and you're just doing it because the universe is kind of just driving your body to do something that you're supposed to to do and what you're born to do. You know what I mean? It's just like it's driving your soul and your body to do it. So that success to me is just being happy and living a stress-free life. Man, no one deserves to have stress in their life because it's just not worth it.